Professional football in America is a special game, a unique game. Played nowhere else on earth, it is a rare game. The men who play it make it so.
Dave Casper has taken off his jacket. He went 290 last week. No trouble at 230 pounds for perhaps the best tight end in football today.
Dave Casper was one of the most versatile athletes ever to play football for Notre Dame.
He just does not fool around. Oh, an easy lift at 240 pounds. Maybe he should put the jacket back on.
His coach, Hall of Famer Ara Parsegian, says Casper was the best athlete he ever coached.
150 pounds, Dave Casper will give it a go. Keep in mind, he did 290 pounds only a week ago. And with absolute ease, Casper goes to 250 pounds, and we are now down to 2.
A four-sport star in high school, Casper played offensive tackle, split end, defensive tackle, and tight end for the Irish.
If he lifts 255 pounds, he is the winner of the weightlifting competition. He doesn't fool around at all. Just strong arms it, locks it out, and he's the winner of the weightlifting. He'll get the 10 points.
In fact, in 1972, he started at offensive tackle against Michigan State one week and wide receiver against Pittsburgh the next. Dave is probably the only player ever to do that in the modern era of major college football.
And he'll visit with Reggie.
Now, don't you wish all the events were this easy?
Into the end zone, Casper's there, touchdown.
The pass is caught by Casper, touchdown!
In an era when tight ends were supposed to be an afterthought, suddenly Dave Casper was a weapon.
A clutch tight end. He was a big man that had the hands of a violinist.
Yasha Heifetz never played a violin.
Very smooth, very fluid, but also very physical.
Casper had a way of getting open, and he would not be afraid to take a hit or deliver a hit.
He ran over Paul Krause like a pickup over a rooster.
You got a tight end who's got arms. His mother must have been a gorilla or something.
Deep to Casper. Casper makes it over the shoulder catch.
The guy was remarkable.
A very remarkable adjustment as Casper managed to run under.
His arms are like an extra foot long. His hands are huge.
He's got Casper. Touchdown Raider.
No idea how Casper would get the nickname of Ghost.
A great effort by the Ghost, Dave Casper.
Dave Casper is a prototype tight end as far as I'm concerned.
You got a tight end, could catch anything, and didn't care about getting hit. Best tight end that ever played a game. Best tight end that ever played a game.
Throws to Casper, complete at the 40.
He was always there when Ken Stabler needed him most.
And he was another one of those money players that always came up with things.
The Stabler to Casper connection.
All year long we run that pattern. I'm just clearing out, but they had given a different type of coverage where I was getting a single coverage from a DB, and they said, hit the ghost to the post. So I get up the line of scrimmage, and the first thing I do is whoever was that linebacker caught me right in the neck. I mean, I didn't even get off the line of scrimmage, so I set the whole play up by being a half-ass play at the time anyway. So I take off down the field, and this guy's covering me inside out, and I'm supposed to run a post. I cut across his face, and I was wide open, but the snake had to get rid of the ball because I was so late.
It worked out, and it was not a very good throw.
Dave Casper had put a scare in the Colts all day, and it was only fitting that his third touchdown gave Oakland the victory.
And it's over here somewhere, so I played a lot of baseball. I just looked down, and it wasn't hard catching the ball because the darn thing came right straight down.
The Raiders finally went on the offensive.
Casper makes the catch. The old ghost to the post.
Crazy Ghost. Dave was told, don't sit on your helmet in practice because you wouldn't eat with your helmet on at lunch or dinner.
I think I like to be perceived as anything but a football player, and I don't know why.
If you're going to be a great football player, you're going to be a little weird. That evening, Dave came to dinner and proceeded to eat his dinner through his face mask.
Sure-handed Dave Casper, number 87.
If you're going to be a great football player, you're going to be a little weird.
Great and weird sum up Dave Casper.
David was a great blocker.
You know, he could block 2 or 3 guys.
I always got into the guy. I very seldom made a mistake. That's what I took most pride in. To me, if I had a great day receiving and a poor day blocking, it was bad.
He gave you the feeling that he was not bored with the game, but he was bemused by the game.
You had a tight end who could block and be a tough, run blocker.
And his most famous play.
And I played 11 years, and I had some success. And what do I remember before? Being a fumbling fool at the end of a holy roll, or whatever they want to call it.
From 1968 to 1977, the Chargers went 18 straight games without beating the Raiders. Finally, in their second meeting of 77, they broke the streak. And in 78, when the break started going their way, it seemed certain that the Chargers were about to win their second in a row over the Raiders.
We played lousy. I mean, we should never have been in that position. I was mad. I was mad at our team. I just thought that we were terrible. We stunk. We stunk out the joint that day.
We had beaten the Raiders up and down the field that whole day. They get down to the final seconds, and in typical Raider fashion, they're still in it. So I think there was a feeling on the sidelines that, hey, let's get these final few seconds out of the way and start celebrating. And it didn't quite happen that way.
On that particular play, I do remember that my responsibility was to block the linebacker if he blitzed.
Woody Lowe beat whoever was supposed to block him, and he came pretty clean and got to me just as I started to set up. I mean, got to me awfully quick, and then that's when everything takes place.
I was able to get my hand on Kenny. Kenny was backing away, and I thought Kenny tried to flip or throw the ball underhand. I thought it was an incomplete pass. I thought I was the hero of the game, to be honest. But it was just the opposite.
I remember looking back at Kenny, and Woody Lowe had him around the arms, and he couldn't raise his arm up to throw the football, and I hollered, "Snake, snake." So he kind of flicked it, and I couldn't get to it, but it was rolling end over end in front of me.
Now, Pete Banaszak goes to pick it up, and he knows that if he picks it up, gets tackled, because he's a smart player, that the game's going to be over, so he can't get tackled with the ball.
Pete Banaszak picks up the ball, and he starts to get tackled, and he just launches the ball up in the air.
At the time, I thought it was a smart thing to do was just get my hands on a football and just push it forward and keep it alive, because if I would have jumped on it, he would have jumped on me, and it would have been all over.
The minute I saw Banaszak propel the ball toward the end zone and spotted that there was nobody between the ball and Casper and the goal line, I said, we're going to win it.
Then Dave Casper, another bright player, comes in the front. The ball's around the 2-yard line. Now, Dave knows if he recovers the ball on the 2-yard line and is tackled, the game's over, because there's no time left now.
And I'm on the 2 or 3 yard line, and the ball comes, so I just run out there and try and pick it up, and of course I flub that.
And if you look, it was just pure luck.
On the most zany, unbelievable, absolutely impossible dream of a play.
And I'm scrambling on the ground watching underneath me, and I saw a white stripe go by, and I actually just kind of fell on top of it. I didn't dive on it. I just, like I said, my greatest contribution was standing in the middle of the field.
When play ended, Dave Casper had the winning touchdown.
It was all surreal. It was part cartoon and part Rod Serling. Then it just seemed to be like the sound had been turned off, and it just became a muzzle and a buzz. And it was just absolute lunacy in a surreal sense, in the fact that nobody could really figure if this was going to count, if this was going to be good, or if the Chargers were going to have their victory.
Madden is on the field. They said, get your big butt out of here.
I cannot think of a more outrageous form of outright Raider thievery and cheating that's ever occurred.
And it was one of those things that maybe you can't do that, but the rules say that you can do that.
You know, I was just there.
It is rolled a fumble. Casper has recovered in the end zone.
If you don't want to do that, then go change the rule. And that's exactly what they did. They went and changed the rule. Now you can't do it anymore.
There's nothing real in the world anymore. This one will be relived forever.
This December, Dave Casper will be inducted into the College Football Hall of Fame and will become only the 5th Notre Dame football player to earn membership in both the Pro Football and College Football Halls of Fame.
Brilliant work of art by the master.
An Adonis who defines what tight end play is all about.